Hey guys, I thought I'd make a comment about Louis Farrakhan's latest comeback. He's back in the news again after a long while. Well, maybe not a long while, but he's back, definitely. But anyway, um, many people are shocked that he would unite with the so-called alt-right. And alt-right doesn't necessarily mean white supremacism or white separatism, white nationalism, whatever you want to call it. It just simply means that the mainstream right, the John McCain's, the George Bushes, and the Ronald Reagans, that sort of mentality, the mainstream right, just isn't for you. You could be a white nationalist, you could be a right-wing libertarian, you could be, you know, any number, a neo-Nazi, you could be any number of things, really. A Kahanist, for example. It just simply means that the regular right is not your thing, but you are right-winged. Some of them follow Mir Kahana, some of them follow Adolf Hitler, some of them follow Andrew Jackson, some of them even, I dare I say, follow Malcolm X. And anyway, what most people don't realize is that Louis Farrakhan has been hanging out with white nationalists, white supremacists, and white separatists for ages. In fact, the founder of the American Nazi Party was butt buddies with Malcolm X for a while because they share similar ideologies. They're against interracial marriages. They like, guns. They like self-reliance. They, believe in separation of the races. A lot of that stuff. And the alt-left is basically, the left side of the coin of the alt-right. Anyway, Louis Farrakhan is a well-known anti-Semitic, is well known for his anti-Semitism. He doesn't like Zionism at all, and he blames Jews for a whole lot of the problems that have befallen black America and black people in general. And so it should come as no surprise that he might get in bed with, the Richard Spencers, Jeff Scoops, and David Dukes of the world. In fact, this is one of the reasons why Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam. He was effectively signing his own death warrant. And that was ballsy. That man had huge balls, believe me. And some people say Malcolm X was connected with the alt-right. In reality, he was alt-right. Because if you look at the Nation of Islam's belief system, they're fairly right-winged, actually. Just do some extensive research. I mean, they're against interracial marriages. They're against drug use. And they are for building, society of warriors. Just look at the fruit of Islam. They train in martial arts. I haven't seen a picture of them carrying guns yet, but I'm not too sure about how the Nation of Islam today feels about gun control or gun rights. But I do know that Malcolm X wanted rifle clubs. And anyway, what it is people think that alt-right is just basically white supremacism, but it's more like this. Alt-right, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. That sort of thing. And, it's really requires a lot of critical thought to look at things and realize what they are just beneath the surface. And sometimes you don't have to dive that deep into these things to realize this kind of stuff. And the truth is often very complex, and reality is stranger than fiction. George Lincoln Rockwell, he praised Elijah Muhammad for being able to basically shape up a bunch of people in prison. And to be honest, the Nation of Islam is very good at that. I mean, they have turned, criminals into pretty upstanding, pretty productive members of the communities, even if they are extreme. It gives them a sense of purpose, if nothing else. And anyway, you should watch the Nation of Islam drill teams. They're quite good. Anyway, they give you a lot of discipline. And Louis Farrakhan's comments these past few days are nothing out of character for him. He still blames Jews and white devils for everything. And the reality is that a lot of white nationalists blame Jews, and a lot of black nationalists, quite frankly, blame Jews for a whole lot of the misfortunes that have befallen them. And it's just, when you, the order of succession in the Nation of Islam goes like this. Wallace Fard Muhammad, who wasn't even African. I mean, look at him. He's probably white. He looks so white in his pictures. He was a white-looking man, a lot of people, the early Nation of Islam members say. And then you have Elijah Muhammad. And finally, you have Louis Farrakhan. And since Louis Farrakhan has, in these past few years, at least since his butt buddy Gaddafi got dragged through the street and beaten to death and all that jazz, he was dragged through the streets of Libya, of a Libyan city in Libya. He has since, kind of softened his image, but I guess he's back to his usual ways now. But he seems to definitely be trying to make the Nation of Islam more like mainstream Islam, more like Sunni Islam or Shia Islam or something like that. And one thing you got to understand is that these, as of now at least, these people believe Elijah Muhammad to be divine. They do. They believe he's up in a mothership, and he's going to one day, when Allah gives the signal, he's going to suck up the white devil race. And anyway, what's interesting is that, Elijah Muhammad was a hypocrite. He was more like a mob boss than a religious leader or a revolutionary. I mean, he killed a lot of people, had a lot of people killed, including Malcolm X. And Malcolm X was a true believer. He really believed in what he was doing. Elijah Muhammad was really just putting up a front. And, he had all these businesses, he had all this stuff. And he impregnated, I think it was something like 8 or 9 women, and threw them out of the Nation of Islam. And he said he could, be like Muhammad and have multiple wives and all that stuff, and he threw them under the bus. And that just kind of shows what kind of person he was. He was a sociopath. He was manipulative. He was a liar. And he had no conscience. And he ruled the Nation of Islam with an iron fist. And when Malcolm X tried to break away, founding Muslim Mosques Incorporated, Elijah Muhammad did the prudent thing and had him killed. And ironically, that's how George Lincoln Rockwell was killed. He was killed by another member of the American Nazi Party. And did I mention that 2 of the 3 guys that assassinated Malcolm X are now out of prison after a few decades? You don't believe me? Look it up. One of them died in prison. But anyway, it's really goes to show, keep your friends close but your enemies closer, because in that line of work, your friends will often screw you over faster than your enemies will. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace be upon you all.